just wondering in relation to that question, it may depend on the situation, but how often is that closure personal and just you resolve it with yourself to be clear, or how often does that seem to be actually needing to talk to the person?
It's non-prescriptive. It's really dependent on the situation and where you're at emotionally. So, I was obviously joking there when I suggested that you get on the phone and call him tomorrow. You may not need to do that, and that's really just up to your own individual sensibility and but if there's something there, and we have awareness of it, if it's bubbling up, this is just nature revealing something that needs to be addressed. And quite often we're really good at deferring, avoiding uncomfortable conversations or uncomfortable feelings to do with the past, particularly if we carry some degree of pain or unresolved. To go back into it, it's like, I spent so long just like forgetting about it. Do I really have to go back into it again? And trying to forget about it is not a sustainable approach to resolution. What we want to do is bring awareness, and we find so much power in the experience of bringing awareness to wherever we're at, whatever it is we're experiencing, no matter how painful it is. If we can witness it, then we're in our power. And what we're doing is we're creating the space and engaging in the mechanism that causes resolution. Awareness is the primary factor. And whatever we're ignoring, denying, resisting, trying to push to the side, compartmentalize, hide behind a curtain or door, we're creating a problem for ourselves in the future. We're just kicking a can down the road. Particularly if you are continuing to meditate, because invariably all you're doing is expanding awareness. And with awareness comes the superpower of translucent walls that we create. Our superpowers inadvertently cause us to have X-ray vision through all of the walls and compartments that we put up in our psyche. Whether we like it or not, we see through it, and eventually it all just is there that we will have to deal with. So best to deal with it now. Get into the healthy habit of just giving attention to what we're feeling, and that will ensure that the laundry basket doesn't overfill, spill out into the laundry, and then eventually make it very difficult for us to even access the laundry. We know we're in trouble when we can't actually get into the laundry to put a load of washing on because there's so much there. And then what we end up doing is just going, I'll just put the dirty clothes in there, close it again. And we're not actually doing it. It just becomes a storeroom for dirty clothes, and you just go buy new clothes, and eventually, you have a big problem. It sounds funny, but that's exactly what we do. And we want to break that habit as quickly as possible. And, sometimes that might involve another person or other people, whether it's an ex-partner or family members or friend or whatever, colleague. The idea is that we want to resolve it within ourselves. That's the end game, is that we are resolved irrespective of whether we get the kind of response that we think we need in order to be okay with the situation. But ultimately, it's got to happen from within ourselves. Where, the theme of this whole evolutionary process is self-sufficiency, not being dependent on anything outside of ourselves, to give ourselves permission to be fully ourselves. And that includes healing. Sometimes it's really great and helpful if we can have some meaningful exchange with whomever it is we've had some kind of history with that's left a bit of a dent. And, have a beautiful, realized conversation about, the history and resolve it. It's wonderful. That's an ideal scenario. But sometimes that's just not available to us. And even if it's not available to us, it doesn't impede healing. It just means that you have to, do a little bit more of the heavy lifting. And that always yields greater strength. You know, we're pumping emotional iron. It's gonna make us spiritually buff. There are two things that I'd like to share with you right now. The first is that if you would like to join us for these wisdom sessions, which all the videos are recorded at on a weekly basis, all you need to do is register for our newsletter below. And the second thing I want to share with you is that we offer a free 7-day transformation program that you can access at ritam.studio, which is a part of a much bigger set of teachings, discourses, courses and programs and retreats that are all available to our members. So if you're interested in taking this teaching to another level, then we welcome you over to Ritam Studio. Please join us.